What's up, everybody? This is GreyMan here. How is everybody doing today? I always like to ask that question because I'm hoping everyone is doing well. All right, so you guys are probably going to notice a little bit of a mix-up, or not a mix-up, but a mix of things going on some of my days. I think because there's a lot of information that I want to bring, that I'm learning, I guess you could say, information that I'm learning, and I wanted to share with you folks. So sometimes the medical Mondays, some of the stuff I'll be talking about will still be medical Mondays. Of course, I'll dive into deeper medical topics, but I'm kind of wanting to, I guess, put off some of the stuff that I'm doing on medical Mondays because I want to bring in, if you guys know Mark from Rolling Homestead, we want to do this thing with medical Mondays. So we're trying to see if we could do something, maybe a live stream on Mondays to do that, depending on his schedule. But it's something that we're trying to figure out to actually plan this out and get it done. But I was on the phone with Mark earlier today, and we were talking a lot about some technical stuff, but we were also talking about gardening. And as I've told you guys, me and the wife we're relatively new to gardening, so I've been researching and looking into a lot of information. And some of the information that I found, I'd just like to share with you guys. Now, some of you folks might be very experienced gardeners out there. But and some of you folks may not, because I know I have a lot of different subscribers from all walks of life. So on this video today, I kind of want to talk about basically, how can I put this? So far the 5 best crops that I've came across for self-sufficiency, if that makes sense. I've been reading articles on self-sufficiency and types of foods to grow in gardens, and this one I took a couple pieces from certain articles and put it together. So it's not like 100% my material, but it's material that I've learned that I wanted to share with you guys. So that being said, I kind of wanted to give you a brief look too. We have some seedlings that we've started to pop up that I wanted to share with you that kind of deal with what I'm about to talk about, and maybe not so much because I can't just go and pull the sweet potatoes out of the garden. I probably should get some footage of the garden. But yeah, so here we are. I don't want to ramble on too much, but I kind of want to show you because my wife has all kinds of stuff growing. I'm going to see if I can get the camera to zoom up on that. That's her watermelon plant. She has a watermelon plant growing. She has a couple other ones, but this is the one I stole off her gardening area. And I think here, she told me, I think this here is some of the broccoli. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus on that. Here we go. It's pretty good. It's not too. It's focusing on that. But let me see. Maybe if I even tilt it a little bit more. So she has broccoli going, and she went really overkill on the tomato plants. But these are some of her seedlings. She has some ones that are in a different stage that are a lot bigger. But these were easier to bring in the house and kind of show you guys. These are some of the small little seedlings of the tomato plants that she has going on there that she's going to be transplanting shortly. So just to kind of show you guys some of the stuff that we got growing, she also has carrots. What else has she got in there? Sweet potatoes. I think some type of onions. She even has encazina. Yeah, I always butcher that word, but she has a bunch of random stuff growing in there, and some types of lettuces and stuff like that. But so that being said, I kind of wanted to talk about these 5 foods that I came across and I put some notes up here. And like I said, a lot of these things I'm assuming most of you grow. And it seems every time I get on the film I have to cough or something, so I do apologize. But so anyways, there's five crops that I'm going to go over that I keep on hearing about on every forum, every video, everywhere I come across. They seem to be very of the top 5 popular crops that people grow for self-sufficiency. So I like to share this with you guys. So let's kind of get into this video and run with it. You know what I mean? And of course, like I always tell you guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm always curious on your thoughts and stuff like this, since I'm relatively new to this, and pointers and suggestions and things that you guys can offer. Mark's been helping me a lot, being that he grows a lot of stuff. He's been doing it for quite some time. And like I said, I think here is it May 4th, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. May, I think it's May 10th or 11th. I can't see the calendar over there, but I'll have Gardener Josh on the channel on a Tuesday night live stream for one of my interviews, so it'll be very helpful to have him as well for you folks and for myself. So that being said, I'm going to probably run some some pictures and some B-roll footage, or stock footage as they call it, to help break up the monotony of staring at my face for the entire time of me talking. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into this and have me stop beating around the bush per se. All right, so on my list here, the number one that I have up here is potatoes. A lot of people like potatoes. I prefer sweet potatoes, but potatoes in general are a solid crop. And here in my notes I have, it says, all the crops you can grow in your garden, potatoes will bring you to closer self-sufficiency than any other crop. And the reason being is that potatoes are packed with calories and have a good amount of vitamins and nutrients. It's fairly easy to grow and if stored under the proper conditions can last over 6 months in storage. So that being said, I thought potatoes, man, 6 months is solid, you know what I mean, if you're growing other potatoes. See, I'm in zone 9 from my understanding here in Florida, and I've been digging into the soil and things that I can do to offset certain things, acidities and pH balances and nutrients and all that jazz, to get the best out of my crops. And that way, once we get it growing and learning all these stuff like that, when we decide to purchase our homestead, we'll be a little bit more efficient at growing these foods for our family. But yeah, so potatoes is one of the ones that I have here on my list. The second, which we have an abundance of, and my wife said that what she's going to do is some of the extra tomato plants, she's going to, gift them to folks that may want a tomato plant, which I thought was very kind of her. I think she has over 50 tomato plants. She kind of went crazy with it, but, she's exploring and she's like, trying to see what tomato plants might be weaker than others, which are more robust, more stronger. And like I said, she's going to take some of these smaller plants and gift them to some of her coworkers and friends and family. So they have a tomato plant that they can grow and enjoy, fresh vegetables themselves. But so tomatoes are, kind of one of the most versatile and productive plants you can grow in the garden. They grow very well in all but coldest climates. So if you're up there in the freezing cold, let's say like Canada or somewhere, of course, I'm assuming you'd have to have some sort of greenhouse or some sort of insulation or the summer or whatnot when you would grow those. But, let's say a small patch of tomatoes, let's say only about, 4 to about 16 feet, roughly, you can grow around 16 plants. And they can produce upwards of 200 pounds of tomatoes on a good year. And that's 4 by 16. Isn't that crazy? For a 4 by 16 spot in your garden, can grow about 16 plants and can produce upwards 200 pounds of tomatoes. And that, like I said, that's on a good year. You have bad years, good years, mediocre years, but I'm just saying in general, which I thought was really awesome. Now, here's what I like about tomatoes. Tomatoes can be dried, they can be frozen, or canned. A lot of people can tomatoes, of course. My grandmother and mother canned tomatoes. It's very versatile. They can be made into soups, sauces, paste, and so much more. And they can become the base ingredients for other stuff that you want to use in your cooking. There's just so many recipes regarding to tomatoes in general. And they're one of the easiest vegetables, because they can, let me see how to say this, they're a high acid veggie, so they can be, let me see, what am I trying to say here, Gray? Let me see if I have a bullet point here on one of my notes here with the tomatoes. That's what I meant. So they can, in regards to the canning, they can be water bath canned instead of needing a pressure canner. So I thought that was cool that you can use a water bath versus a pressure canner in case you don't have access to a pressure canner. So yeah, the tomato, that's number 2 on my list for one of the 5 best crops that you can grow for self-sufficiency. Now 3, I had to read into this, and I'm going to experiment it with it. I'm going to try to see if I can do it. I know it's a little late for us to start, but like I said, Florida, your growing season is pretty much almost all year round, especially in the zone. And I think I told you I'm in like zone 9 here in Florida. So it's popcorn. Yes, I said popcorn. So basically, the reason I'm saying this is popcorn is the only grain crop that can be particularly grown in a home garden. You see, there's a secret to many people that they don't know. And you can grind popcorn in a grain mill into a really tasty, easy to use cornmeal. You can then use that meal for baking, let's say cornbread and other cornbread products. Me personally, being from the South, I love cornbread, especially fresh cornbread, right out of the oven with some good old-fashioned real, not fake, real butter. But just I'm a cornbread fanatic, man. And if I go to a restaurant and I taste their cornbread and it's that box stuff, man, and it's so dry, I make a note never to eat their cornbread again. So, being popcorn, and this is a corn, just so you guys know. Most of you gardeners out there know what I'm talking about. But popcorn is easy to grow, fairly productive, and can be tucked into little hills around your garden. And little out. What I mean by hills is little areas around your garden, even around your flower beds. It does require a lot of water, so be prepared to irrigate. So some people use drip irrigation. Some people, like, let's say Florida, we have the rainy seasons where it's continuously raining at least once a day. Just make sure to properly water these plants. And one note I did put on here says you also can't grow popcorn and sweet corn together, so to be sure that if you're growing both, to leave at least 100 feet in between. So depending on your property size, and that's why I'm focusing on the popcorn itself. And I know it sounds crazy, but then you can, if you want, you can pop popcorn out of the popcorn corn. Yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. But anyways, I found that it's really intriguing when I heard the word popcorn. I'm thinking like just regular old popcorn, but no, as popcorn, you can grow popcorn. And I swear, I think Jeff must have said something that on last Thursday's stream about popcorn, and it didn't hit home to me until I read this, and I think that's what he was talking about. So thanks, Jeff. So other than that, on the next one on the list, and there's only five plants that I'm talking about here, which I think I stated in the beginning. The next one is squash. Squash is I like there, and remember, there's a lot of different versions of squash. Summer squash, zucchini squash. There's all kinds of different squashes, the pumpkin and whatnot. But so, like I said, keep in mind that there are two types of squash. You have summer and winter squashes. Summer squash are plants like zucchini, yellow squash, and patty pans, which I didn't even know existed until I was digging into squashes myself. And these are very productive plants, but have a very short shelf life and very few storage options. Freezing is really the only way to preserve summer squash, so please grow these in great squashes, but do not plan on them being a part of your winter storage. And yes, I'm reading from my notes because I took little pieces and tidbits from things that I read and incorporated in what I'm regurgitating here on YouTube. So if it sounds like I'm reading, I am. There's nothing to hide about that. I'm just sharing information with you guys, and wrote some notes down and some things that kind of popped out to me. Anyways, let me continue. Sometimes I just feel like I have to clarify myself. So let's get into the winter squashes. Winter squashes are plants like butternut, spaghetti, banana, and acorn squash, and also include pumpkins, like I said. And me, I am a big fan of pumpkin pie. My mom up north used to grow pumpkins every year, and come around November, she would make fresh, from the pumpkin sugar in the garden, pumpkin pie, and it was just the best. God, I miss her so much. Love my mom. And I know she's, like I said, she's in a great place. And hopefully she's proud of me for what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do here by growing my own foods and being more self-sufficient. I should have paid a lot more attention to my mom when she was growing stuff. God bless her soul. Anyways, where was I? So these squashes are very productive. When stored properly, they can last through a winter. A big banana squash can feed your family for several meals. And have you seen the size of these banana squashes? Huge banana squashes. I was pretty impressed. So I guess make sure you have the room. Being said, you will need a larger garden to grow these winter squashes. These vining plants can take up a lot of room, so plan on them sprawling all over the garden. Most winter squashes are good candidates for vertical growing, so try growing them on some type of trellis or other structure to save space. And a lot of you folks know what trellis is. There's all different sizes. Some people use, chicken wire. Some people they'll build their own trellises, out of 1 by, what is it, 1.25 inch by 1. But, you guys get what I'm saying. You can buy pre-built trellises, the plastic ones, the metal ones, the wood ones, But, so yeah, like on our tomato plant, we have one of them cone-shaped vertical trellises around our tomato plant. Our big, I call it the big boy because it is robust and it is growing very well. I'll have to take some pictures and show you folks on that. So yeah, and then here on the last plant, everybody has heard, and now I know some folks might not like all these plants, and there's things I'm going to be going into. There's other research that I've done on 20 things that I wish I would have known before I began prepping. There's another one on that I have been creating a list that I want to go over here on YouTube. But so look forward to those coming too, kind of like what I'm doing here. So the last one, number 5, is kale. And a lot of you guys know kale is a superfood. It's a leafy green vegetable, but kale comes in a couple varieties as well. But like I said, kale basically is known as a superfood. It is packed full of nutrients, that are just good for your body. Kale plants are also super productive and very hardy. With a little planting and in some simple what they call a hoop house for some of you folks for protection in the winter. Let's say a greenhouse or whatever, hoop house, greenhouse. Just some way to protect it from the cold. You can easily grow kale all year long. So it's going to continuously produce. If you grow kale in the winter, you can get added bonus of eating the best tasting kale you will ever eat. I took that quote because I was curious about it, because I don't have option to winter. Our winters here are very, very, very mild. On the occasion, we might get down to 35 to 40 degrees, but that it's a rarity and it may last very, very short time. So I'm curious for you folks that grow kale in your gardens up north, where you do get a hard winter. How does the kale differ? Have you tried your summer kale versus your winter kale? Do you guys get different flavors? Because now I'm really curious what winter kale tastes like. Because I'm very curious how the environment changes the flavor. But basically, it says the cold temperatures will sweeten up the kale and turn it into a whole new vegetable or veggie, however you like to call it. So very intriguing. These are the 5 plants, that I've come across that a lot of folks have reiterated to me and reiterated in many articles that I've read, that are some of the 5 best crops, for self-sufficient gardeners. Now, there's a lot more things out there, like in carrots, and I can go on to a list that's a mile long. But, so far these are the ones that have been recommended to me over and over and over again. So I figured they've been recommended to me so many times, and also recommended by a lot of the articles and research that I've been doing, that I'd like to share with you those 5 foods. So far we're lucky, we're having some good outcomes with our garden. I know a lot of folks like Papa Prepper and some other folks are having some issues because they got that freeze, which my heart goes out to all those folks. Because it was unprecedented. It was like, really warm, and everybody's getting out there and doing their gardens, and all of a sudden cold temperatures hit them again and ruined some of their crops. Hopefully some of their plants and vegetables and stuff they got going will recover. So send prayers to all those folks. But that is my list of 5, and like I said, I'm really curious to what you guys think of this list, and what you would add to it, or what would you maybe you wouldn't grow one of these specific foods, and let me know why down in the comments. I always like to hear from you, and you guys know I'm very interactive in the comment section. So hopefully you found value into this video that I did today, and I really would appreciate feedback from you folks. Other than that about wraps it up. Not too much of a long video and all, but I always like talking with you guys and whatnot. And I'll see you guys in chat. And tomorrow is Tuesday. And again, like I said, I'll have Mike from Asymmetrical Preparedness on the live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we had a pre-collaboration interview last night. It went well, and I think you guys will enjoy Mike's content if you haven't already. And like I said, he does a lot of gardening himself. I've learned some tips from him in regards to potatoes and stuff. So it should be a very intriguing conversation. So please join us tomorrow night, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the live stream. Thanks so much. This is GreyMan. I'm out. God bless. You guys have a great day. I'll see you on the rebound.